Hello, everyone. This is Shelly Dressel, and I'm here today to do a ULB mini. I wanted them to tap into the fires that are going on in LA and all of this controversy over the United States is going to take over Canada, which I personally don't see happening. But I just wanted to get their intake on it. And if there's enough, I don't want to take too much time, but maybe even talk about the drones, but we'll see. Anyway, hello from Atlanta. We have a snow day. It is beautiful here. I was going around my house trying to think, can I put this as a background so you could see my snow outside? But it's all good. I couldn't really get it where it would look the way I wanted it to. So I'm back in my usual space, and we'll see what they have to say about these things. Greetings. It is I, Brysentia, and I come to you today to speak about the transitions that are taking place on the earth. There are several messages that I wish to give to you. And one is that the earth has been around for billions of years. There have been so many different layers and layers and layers that have created the earth that you are walking upon at this time. Those other layers had catastrophes. They had floods. They had fires. There was what do you call it? The flood that flooded the entire world. There were the ice age, where the ice just came down through the entire world. So in other words, and before each of these, there was humanity living on the planet. They were living in different ways than what you are living today. Some were very highly evolved. Some were not as highly evolved. But my point of all of this is that this is another age, another era, another time in which you are creating these changes upon the earth. Now, one of the distinct differences about this time is that of moving into a totally different frequency, about moving into the higher frequency that's associated with the golden age, that's associated with the Aquarian age. And this is something that makes it a little bit more unique. We also want to say to you that the earth will never go back to what it did. In those other times, it was always a clearing out of what was here, and let's bring in this, and let's try this and see what happens. Now let's clear it out. Let's try this and see what happens. And it has, because of these many, 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 many experiences upon the earth, not only has Gaia, but the universe has come to a place where, and we're not saying today, we're saying a few hundred years ago, they came to the place where they said, okay, it's like you have a council and you have groups of people that are talking about, well, what about this? And what about this? And putting forth many, many, many different potentials. And that was when it was decided. And Gaia herself was the one that said, no, enough. Enough is enough. I want to be here in all of my beautiful vibration, in all of the energy that resonates with Gaia, it's with the earth plane itself. So hence, we've been working towards that. I mean, that was before the time when Yeshua came in. That was before the time when Buddha walked upon the planet. He was kind of one of the deciding factors. And so this is what I mean. This is not something that has come lightly. This is not something that has decided to happen over the last 8 years or 10 years or 20 years. This is something that is a few thousand years in the making. Okay, so where are we? We're in this day that you call January 10th, 2025. And we are in the place where you are now you have arrived at the higher frequency. I understand it is not there in everybody's everyday life, but as a consciousness and as a planet, you have arrived. So until we can clear out everything that needs to be cleared out so that all of humanity can vibrate at that higher frequency, you are going to have different wave upon wave upon wave of clearing out that's going to take place. This clearing out can be fire. It can be flooding. It can be sometimes man-made or man-initiated. It can be earthquakes. It can be tsunamis. It can be the many, many, many different reactions that the weather will have around the world. You have been so accustomed to considering that man-made weather is always negative. It always comes from HARP. It was programmed by the nefarious ones, and therefore it's got to be bad. It's got to be here to the detriment of humanity. But I wish for you to begin to transition that thought process. There are times when the weather is controlled, but it's not controlled by the nefarious ones. And even though things are happening on a grand scale, so you think, oh my God, this has got to be the bad guys, it is not. The nefarious ones may have programmed something years and years ago that pops up and begins to happen. The nefarious ones may go in there and try to manipulate things now, but they're not nearly at the level that they need to be to really do the worldwide annihilation that they would like to see, but that is not ever going to happen. So therefore, when you have these things happening around you, it is horrible. I certainly understand that. For everyone going through it, from everything that happened with Hurricane Helene to the hurricanes they have down in Florida to the wildfires they had in the Midwest. This is just talking about one country. We could go to every single country, and there are times upon times upon times that there have been very hard and struggling experiences for people. So I do not wish to insult anyone or put down anyone's experience, because I know it is incredibly hard to lose your whole home, to lose everything that you have, to be stranded and not know where to go, not know what to do next. So I by no means put that down. Just want to be clear about that up front. That being said, I would like for humanity as a whole to begin to look at these experiences that are coming on as cleansing of the earth. Sometimes it does include cleansing of people. Sometimes it does include cleansing of the facilities. So you guys have become very, very conscious of what energy is, of how it works, of how it's influenced, of how you, not only you yourself can work with it, but the energy that you see in others. So when I speak of this, you all have a very good understanding that so much of this part of LA was infused with the nefarious ones for the past 50 years or more. There was a lot of experimentation with drug, with mind control, with MK altering people, with pornography, with human trafficking of all ages, including the littles. And so much of what's happening with these fires is the cleansing of not only those buildings, but the earth that is in that place. This is a purging of the earth because energy seeps into what is around it. That's why sometimes you can go into a room and think there's no one in this room, but it feels horrible. And it's the energy that is permeating in the room. So many of these big, huge mansions that had a lot of nefarious things going on needed to be purged. Is this the best way? Who can say? Perhaps many will argue, no, it wasn't. But unfortunately, fortunately, this is the way that it was determined to clear this out. That's why right up against the water, you could see a whole row of homes that were destroyed. Now, the problem that comes along with this is that there are many people that had nothing to do with that. And they are also losing their homes. They're losing their wild stock, their livestock. They're losing many of the things. So that's that unfortunate part. There are some that said, why didn't they use DEWs like the directed energy weapon and just get this house, just get this house, just get this house. That was, I believe, how things started. And then Gaia or the earth, started up with sending wind around, and the wind then was a big impact upon it. So if you're asking my opinion, was this something that was just purely accidental? It just purely came out of the blue? The answer is no. This was something that was specifically designed to clear out the energy where a lot of really deep nefarious things had been going on for at least 50 years, if not perhaps as much as 80 years or more. And the other thing that I sense is going to come out of this is that as they do the cleanup of it and they start looking, they're like, well, what's this? Where does this go to? And it's going to find out the dumbs, and they're going to find out what was beneath these homes. And that is going to lead to more and more questions, and it's going to lead to more and more disclosure of what's been going on there. So it is a hard time. But I'm asking each of you to remember to take that step back, to be the holders of the light, to be the holders of the balance for everything that is going out. And just about anything that, because like I said, I'm sure there are many things in other parts of the world. Whatever is happening that seems to be on a large scale, I can 95 to 98% guarantee it's being done to cleanse the energy. And as that energy becomes cleansed, then new beginnings can come on top of it. You will notice in some of those pictures that you see that not everything was burned to the ground. There were things that were left in sporadic places. But again, as they keep saying, so-and-so's house, so-and-so's house. I'm not saying that everyone was a part of this, but there was a large majority that were. Okay, so let me take one more quick look at that before I move on. So I'm just sending a wave of love and light to move throughout. It's like it comes down from the top of the canyon, going down into the bowl and going into the homes that were around it. Just sending love and light and support into all that are there. And the information is going to come out. It cannot not come out. Okay. Now, let's talk about Canada for a minute. There are those that I get, this is why El Bayon's a little bit better for this, because he just he's completely detached. You are seeing in your social media many, many, many people that were part of the nefarious ones, or many people that simply do not want change or simply detest President Trump for whatever reason, be it the programming that they've received or be it just their personal belief system. We all know he can be abrasive. That's a check. However, looking at him as the whole, he is 100% the only person that could have done this. There are still people out there that keep saying he's part of the Dark Hats, and I want to affirm, no, he is not. And there are still people that are saying there's actually 2 or 3 of him. That I will confirm. He does have body doubles, and you do not always see the exact same one. The one that looks pretty fit is the legitimate Trump. The one that's pretty heavy set is not legitimate. And then the third one is somewhat in between. So they make decisions, that team, including the universal beings that are part of that. They all make decisions as to who's going to show here, who's going to show here. But it will be absolutely the real one that shows up on the 20th for the inauguration. And it has been the real one that has been going through a lot of these different processes that needed to be done. So let us then, I felt as if I just wanted to clarify that. So when you look at what he's saying, people are saying, oh, Donald Trump says he's going to merge Canada into the United States. No, that's wrong. When I connect to him and when I look at the energies of everything that's been going on, I do not see that happening at all. I do understand that Trudeau has stepped down, which we knew this was coming. And many of you were hoping that that would happen in the United States, but they went a different route. So there will be a new prime minister that will be elected for Canada, but it's not going to happen until a lot of this disclosure comes out. And the new prime minister that I sense or see going on, it almost maybe feels female, but it feels like it's someone that's a part of the worldwide organization that's helping with clearing out the negativity and bringing the new peace worldwide. So if you go back to what you consider the modern age is the time in which you've had certain specific countries that have ruled the rest of the world. And those countries have divvied up the world and said, this is mine. And when the English, you could call it, first came to America, when the French first went to Canada, it's like they said, okay, this is mine. This is part of France. This is part of the Great Britain, or England, I guess, as they called it at that time. And they just claimed that land. Well, who did that land really belong to? The natives that were already living there. And so all of this was showing the control and the manipulation that's been going on for so very, very long. They had their land was determined by the Lakotas, or by this breed, or the Mohican, or, the different parts. They were by the Indian tribe that was predominantly in that space. They didn't call it United States. They didn't call it Canada. They didn't call it any of those things. So with a lot of what you're seeing take place is going to be that at some point in the future, there will probably be a restructuring of the planet in ways that will allow for the natural parts and the natural parts of the world to once again go back to their origins, you could say. You cannot go back 100% because this is what it's been for all these many, many, many years. But what I believe is going to happen, what I see much more realistically happening, is that there will be new trade agreements that will be made between each country and the bordering countries around it. So whether you're in Europe, whether you're in the Americas, Australia, whatever it may be. And this spring, there will be a revaluation of the money. This has been coming. You all are very well aware of it. And it's going to be the gold back and the mineral back, depending on what country you are in, so that the entire planet then is on an even keel, 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. At that point, you will see new trade agreements. You will see new commitments between the various countries, but the U.S. is not going to annex Canada. They are not going to annex Mexico. They will stay 3 separate countries. But I can 100% see that there may be a North American in which the 3 blend together and they work together for, be it political reasons or commerce or something like that. But for all of these people that keep putting that out there, be aware that there are many, many, many people that are very good with AI, and they change things around. They take a person from this, put it in that. They just change it around. That's the bottom line. And a lot of it is lying, and a lot of it is to get people angry. Canada does not want to be part of the US, and that's fine. They're 2 separate countries. So that is my take on the status of everything right now. Be balanced within your own energy, within your own experiences. Be balanced in the way in which you send out light and love to everybody else. Try not to engage when you get people that want to argue with you, when you get people that tell you how wrong you are. Just say, okay, and move on. This I can still see for at least the first half of this year being somewhat prevalent, that a lot of people are still going to deny that what's been going on has been going on. So it takes time to deprogram people, and it takes time to unwind the nefarious ideas and truths and beliefs and realities that have been going on. So the best way that everyone can handle this is to be in that space of balance, be in that space of love, be in that space of light, and send that out from you to everybody else in every situation. Know that everything is happening in a way that it has to happen, good, bad, and in between, but just send love and light and compassion to those in need, and then you remain in a space of balance. Ansaluia. Whew, that was good. I really love the feeling of that. And I could feel Brysentia just sending out these waves upon waves upon waves, not only to everybody, but into situations and into the ground and into a lot of things. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.